Hello everyone, I'm Dinora Cantu. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico, finishing my master in public policy at Wagner, NYU. And today I want to talk to you about one project that is about building an online community of supporters and collaborators that want to advocate for the legalization of medical and the recreational use of cannabis. This community will have as the ultimate goal to create a ready-to-print, ready-to-file motion for constitutional control, an amparo, so that anyone interested in joining and advocating for this cause could just go to the courts and use it. And I've been thinking about this for a year. I started developing the prototype since January. And so many things have happened. So which story should I tell you? Should I speak to you about Juana Solis Barrios, who is looking for her disappeared daughter since 2011? Should I tell you a story about Jose Manuel Mireles, leader of the Michoacán Autodefensas? I'm sure you have heard about him. Should I tell you about how kids in Tampico haven't been able to go to school since a week ago because of it's apparently a no man's land? Or should I tell you about the time when I had to run to a closet and hide there for 30 minutes because in the street by my house they were having military drug cartels crossfires? And yes, unfortunately, the war on drugs is not just a branding problem, it's a real problem. A problem that hurts. A reality that in a way creates a struggle. But how to transform this struggle to hope? Even more when the government has no political will to change the repressive strategies that won't solve the drug problem. They're not solving it, they won't. So where to find hope in this struggle? Well, let's do it ourselves. And this project is about that. How can we as citizens change the drug policy in Mexico, especially regarding the cannabis? So I'm proposing a crowdsourcing platform. I want to crowdsource a social media campaign, infographics and video, legal arguments, and plaintiffs, okay? So it's just about collaborations. We're going to see the initial legal arguments. This part of the platform will help the lawyers, law professors, scholars interact, make the best legal arguments they can. Designers, artists are going to be welcome. They're going to be given primers of information so they can develop infographics, video, the storytelling, the stories that create this collective memory about what we have been through because of the war on drugs. And then the plaintiffs, they are going to be able to access with this guided, like a guided interview. So by them answering some easy questions, the amparo is going to start to fill it in, and they can just hit print, and the process is going to be explained to them, and they can all be self-represented advocates for this cause. So I'm going to give you, so how to do this? I'm going to give you like a guide, more or less a tour, so that this idea can materialize a little bit more. This is the prototype I've been building. So this is the web page. You're going to enter, do it yourself. What we stand for, legalizing cannabis, why, how, all this information. The stories that I want to input after they are crowdsourced, the little documentaries about it, what's going on. Participate, join our team of lawyers, designers, activists, plaintiffs. So let's say you're a lawyer. You need to create your profile. It will only take a minute. It can be anonymous. It doesn't have to. Then help us win the case. Select a legal argument of your interest, argue it, submit a new one. Let's say, imagine that I already had like the legal arguments that we want to use. So in here, you can either say, oh, I think that argument is on point, I think that argument is off base. I can even say why. Or you know what, they don't have enough arguments, I want to add a new one. Okay, so let's add a new one. Are you going to have it because of a case, because of statute, regulation, etc.? And that's how the content of the amparo is going to start to be created. And on the other hand, you will have the side of the user, for example, the side of a plaintiff, which is going to be very easy, like tell me your complete name, tell me your address, etc. Everything that needs to be filled in the Amparo, and then you can just hit print, and more or less that's about it. So if we can go back to the presentation. I'm very excited about this because it changes in a way the way we think we can solve problems. It's just all about let's collaborate with what we have best, our knowledge, our expertise, our passion. Let's put it out there. Let's create these networks where even maybe we are tired of our work, but we can get late at night and join a cause that we want to. It's going to be open source. So if this interaction works out, if we prove this interaction works out of lawyers working on one side, users being able to access the process and self-represent themselves, it can be used for any other human right that you want to advocate for. So it presents an alternative towards tackling the access to justice. And, well, it's a feasible possibility of transforming the drug policy. So that's it.
The floor is open to questions.
Hello, I'm Bruno Rios, alumnus from ITAM. I see that here you are advocating to have this changed through the judicial way, and I would be inclined to think that you're not precluding legislative changes themselves. I wanted to ask you, have you considered among the issues the fact that Mexico is a signatory to the 3 international conventions on drug control? How do you see the implications for this into your effort on the project that you have just presented?
Yeah, and thanks for your question. Definitely that's something that is going to be discussed when the cases are taken into the courts. I'm a human rights lawyer. I think that the constitutional reform and there are enough human rights arguments that will, if you make a ponderation on them, I think that the right to health or the right to self-determination of your own life is going to be over those drug treaties that, yeah. I think it has like the principio pro persona principle that will help advance the case. Please.
Question?
Rogelio, can you give us a sense of the market size of, like, you are like thinking that you need lawyers, you need designers, you need like people that put their cases forward. How many do you think you can actually going to be able to attract?
Yeah, well, one of the things I'm working on is on like securing the minimum participation. There are a lot of already organizations advocating for these kind of drug policies, so they are all in a way. Medical use is a big pool. I've been documenting about so many families that are even selling everything they have, so they move to California to treat their epileptic child, etc. So I'm developing them, thinking the personas for this is just families of persons that need it for medical use and activists that will do it anyways, families of the victims maybe. So I think there's a big pool. My goal is at least 1,000 plaintiffs in 15 different states for Mexico.
Eduardo?
So I'm Eduardo. Basically, have you thought about using this platform and starting maybe not with the green politics kind of portion, and then maybe focusing more on the human rights, other human rights first, and then use as a proof of concept that this actual crowdfunding platform works, and then once you already have something that people understand works, then it might have a higher impact on exactly this type of initiative. So have you thought about doing it, maybe starting the other way around, like maybe doing others and then coming to this?
Yes, very important, and actually that's my next step. I will take some cases that are already won, so that I don't need to crowdsource the legal arguments, etc., and just make the user part to see how people that don't have access to a lawyer will actually have access to this kind of exercise, to this guided interview and how start making those experiments to see what works better. Yeah, I'm going to start by pieces, and then, but the big, yes, I start with the big thing, and I think the next step is go small and start with experiments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinora. Thank you.
All right.